Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to my second video. For those of you who were there watching last time, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, so today I'm just going to be talking about a few basics in terms of posture, playing position, where your hands are, what they do, just really basic ground level technique stuff, which obviously paves the way for everything that's yet to come. Okay, so get right into it. Nothing much else to say. Okay, so in terms of sitting, it's really important that you sit up straight, not too high, not too low. You want your legs to kind of be straight. I know you can't see them here. Just a nice comfy, come back. Okay, a nice comfortable sitting position. Keep good posture. It'll stop you from, if you tend to play a lot, it'll stop you from getting uncomfortable, from getting back problems, all sorts of things like that. So just make sure you sit nice and comfortably. Don't slouch back, don't lean too forward. Just nice, as if you're having like dinner with the Queen of England or something. Good posture. Okay, so that's that. I would recommend, if you can, sit on a stool. I don't, but as you can see, I'm not leaning back in my chair, so it's pretty much like a stool. Stools are really good for getting, forcing you to have good posture. Okay, then in terms of positioning your guitar, you can either rest it on your right leg, or if you're feeling old school, you can do classical style, where you rest it on your left leg, like this. This is quite a good style for learning. You do, however, need something to put under your left foot to prop it up a bit. Otherwise, you end up with quite a bad playing position. I have a nice convenient guitar case here. Okay, so you're going to be keeping this kind of position, probably just to start off. If you play like this, it's also cool. This just helps you a bit more in terms of being able to see the fretboard, stuff like that. It is quite a good position. I'd really recommend it for starting off in terms of your playing. Okay, so let's talk about your left hand. Obviously, if you're a right-handed player playing like me, your left hand is the one that is going to be holding down the notes. And this is called fretting, when you hold down a string in a space. Okay, what you're doing is, if you can see there, you're holding it between two frets in the space. You're not pressing down on the fret, you're in between the frets, in the space. That's something I've seen a couple kind of inexperienced players do sometimes, is they play on the fret. You don't want to do that, you want to be holding in the space. That's what the spaces are there for. Okay, for the moment just try aim for the middle of the space. It's fine, we'll get on a bit later into some more, not advanced, but just more general technique where you're holding more towards the next fret. But for now, if you can just play in the middle of the space, that's awesome. But again, for now we're not going to be doing much playing. This is more just an intro. The next lesson I've decided is going to be, it's probably be quite a long one. It's going to have quite a bit of theory, just to get us started. And then the fourth lesson, we're going to be playing something. Yeah, we're going to be playing something, which is great. I'm excited. I can't wait to get there. It'll be awesome. Okay, so with your left hand, when you're playing, you want your fingers to come down onto the string at a 90-degree angle as much as possible. If you can see there, I don't know how easy it is to see, your finger must be coming straight down. That's really important, especially when you're starting off. It'll give you great, it'll help with your sound, it'll help with your finger strength. It's really important that you're doing that. You don't want your fingers kind of flat, as you can maybe see there. You want them at a nice angle. I'm trying to see how I can show you best, like that. Okay, that's a bit of a quite uncomfortable, but a pretty good view. You can see my fingers coming down almost 90 degrees, which is what we're aiming for. That'll give you more strength in terms of, you know, you have more strength if you're pushing down like that than if you're pushing down flat. It's more natural for your fingers. That's how you need to play. You can argue with me if you like. That's how you need to play. Just do it. Okay. Then in terms of actually positioning this hand, what you want to do is you want to hold the neck between your thumb and your other four fingers. You don't want your thumb coming around over the top of your neck. We'll do that when we maybe get into some cool chords or something. When you play with your thumb, you play a string with your thumb. But for now, you're keeping your thumb like that, holding your fingers, you know, holding the neck between your fingers and your thumb. Don't play like this. It'll give you bad technique to start off with. It forces your fingers to be more flat. This is what you don't want to do. If you pull your thumb down so that it's just on the back of the neck, you get that nice finger positioning that I've been talking about, which is what we want. Okay, cool, so do that. Good. Okay, so that's basically your left hand. If there's anyone out there who, you know, has obviously been playing for a while or something, or knows something, and you maybe have something to add, or you disagree with something or something, just write it down. That's fine in the comments. I'll respond to you, you know. Cool? Okay. Yeah, so that's your left hand. I don't think there's anything else I need to really say about it. We will be using all four fingers to play. Some people don't really use their pinky, which is just a waste of potential. You definitely want to be using all four fingers. It'll give you a lot of flexibility. You know, I mean, there's no reason, you have four fingers, no reason not to use them. But anyway, the stuff we'll be doing in terms of checking out technique will be involving our pinky anyway, so just make sure that when we go into later videos, if I tell you these are the fingers you're using, make sure you use those fingers to play those notes. Okay, yeah, so that's basically left hand positioning. Okay, right hand positioning. This is a bit more tricky, a bit more open-ended. There are lots of different techniques for your right hand, depending on obviously how big your right hand is, you know, the general shape. If you have misshapen hands or giant hands or tiny hands, you know, I don't have big hands, so I play in a very specific way. Other people play in a different way. It all comes down to kind of what's comfortable, but there are some general guidelines, which I'm going to point out now. Okay, first things first, holding your pick. This is super important to make sure that you get the right technique. So let me just move that out of the way. To make sure you get the right technique. Okay, so here's your pick. I'm using super cool John Petrucci signature Jazz 3 picks. They are really, really great picks. I do kind of have a thing for Petrucci. He's pretty great. This is getting awkward. Anyway, okay, so what you want to do is hold your hand open like this, then turn it so it's like this, and you're placing your pick on the edge of your finger like that, and then grabbing it with your thumb. So you're holding it, I don't know if you can see, like that. And what you want to do is have as little of the pick kind of poking out the bottom of your this is quite horribly awkward, poking out the bottom of your finger as possible. You don't want to be holding it so that there's a whole lot of pick coming out, because then you have a bad grip and it's really easy for it to flick out. You want to get a nice solid grip, and there are a couple ways again that you can hold the pick within that. Some people hold it like this, so they curl this finger up. Can you see that? They curl this, oh my goodness, they curl the finger up like that, and they play like that. So it's kind of like you're almost making a fist when you're playing, if you can see that. I don't really like that. I like to open up my fingers a bit more so that you see you have that, you know, there's that space in my hand, this open space. I'm not going to stick my finger in there because that would just be disgusting, you know, so that area like there. Also, what I've decided I want to do is not do retakes or anything. If I make a mistake, if I say something embarrassing, funny, it's coming out, it's going to happen, you know, get used to it. I don't want to do retakes just because I think it's, you know, it'll make you feel more comfortable if you see me screwing up and making mistakes and saying weird things and stuff like that. So no retakes unless I have a monumental screw up, which so far hasn't happened. Fingers crossed. Anyway, back to this. So I like to have more of an open hand position, as you can see there. Some people also like to hold the pick with the fleshy bits of their fingers like that. I don't really like that. I do know though that Sinister Gates from Avenged Sevenfold, that's how he holds his picks, but he does have like a weirdly long thumb, so he can, you know, hold it quite comfortably. I can't play like that comfortably, really. But yeah, just experiment a bit. This is the kind of general shape that most people would use. It's quite versatile. Good place to start. If you find something that's more comfortable for you, that's great. I wouldn't recommend. I know some people play with their middle and their thumb. Don't really do that. It's a bit weird. It's not going to work out as well as you think. Or with two fingers like that. Stick to this. I found it works great. It'll probably work great for you. But if you find something that works better, try it out. Maybe tell me about it. We can check it out together or something. Okay. That's all I need to say about holding your pick, I think. Okay. Okay, so now actually in terms of positioning your right hand, what you want to do is have the fleshy part over here, this sort of area, resting specifically, this side, resting on the bridge. You don't want to be resting on the strings because then you get a muted sound, and you don't want to be too far off the bridge that it becomes uncomfortable. You want to rest it kind of right along here on the edge. I found is a good place. A good place to rest your right hand. Then what I do is I use my pinky to stabilize my hand on the body of the guitar. So I don't know if you can see there. So like that. Lots of people don't. They tuck their pinky in and they play like that. I just find it gives me a nice reference point, so I always know, you know, where my hand is if I'm moving up or down the strings. You know, my pinky kind of gives me an idea of where I'm playing, which is very useful for knowing what string I'm on, what string I'm playing. But again, like I said a few minutes ago, right hand positioning is really quite an individual thing. Find what works for you. I'm just giving you some pointers, suggestions, you know, my techniques. If you don't like them, if they don't work for you, that's okay. Tell me why. We'll talk about it. You know, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. It'll be okay. I promise. Don't worry. All right, it'll be fine. Okay. So yeah, I think that's all I really need to say in terms of positioning. Oh, what will help a lot with positioning your hands and stuff is just watch guitarists, you know. Watch your favorite guitarist playing live or something. See how he positions his hands. You know, that's how I learned. That's where I got the whole using my pinky to stabilize, because I saw some guys I like doing it and I thought, oh well, let's try that, and it turned out it worked really well for me. So yeah, just, you know, watch lots of people, see if you can figure out how they're holding their pick, try that style. You know, I've actually recently changed kind of how I hold my pick because I saw someone holding it that way, and it turns out it's really cool. It works for me. It feels comfortable. It lets me play a little bit faster. So yeah, you know, there's no real hard and fast rules. Just watch videos, watch people playing, see what they're doing, try copy them. That's what all music essentially comes down to these days, is copying someone, but not admitting it. You know, you just copy someone, copy their solo or something, maybe add a bit of your own flair, or maybe combine two people's things into your own thing. All of a sudden you're like a musical prodigy, and all you've been doing is copying people, you know, so that's great. Creativity, it's a lie, it's just copying. That's what everyone's doing these days. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, seriously, check out videos, check out your favorite guitarists, see how they position their hands and stuff like that. See if it works for you, see if it's comfy. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all I really need to say in terms of positioning your guitar and your hands and everything. I'm just thinking now. Okay, you know what I've decided I'm going to do? Next video, we're going to do some really basic picking techniques. You'll see just some really easy stuff to get you kind of started and into it, and then the lesson after that we'll do some theory, because then we're going to get started on like scales and shapes and stuff like that. So the next video will be some basic picking techniques. No theory whatsoever. I'm not going to tell you what any of the notes are. I'm just going to tell you where to play and how to play to get you started, to get your hands moving in the right way, to introduce how your PG 13 or 16, or I don't know. Okay, to show you how your right hand must be moving when you're playing, and your left hand, and you'll get a feel for just playing notes with some really easy examples, just to start you off at a nice slow pace, that you know you've got something to do as opposed to just listening to me talk for 15 minutes, and you know, then rather than the next lesson just being like half an hour of theory, you can actually get started with something you can practice and work at, and you know, start really making some good progress. Okay, so we're at like 16 minutes. Good enough for me. Guys, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, any suggestions, anything you think I should check out, anything you want to do, literally whatever, you know, tell me what you think. Tell me if you're enjoying it, if I'm heading in the right direction, if you think it's a good idea, you know, whatever. Okay, cool. Cheers, guys.